PTV, Telebisyon ng Bayan.
Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps and guests. Welcome sa press briefing ni Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar and Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Good morning, sir.
Hello, good morning, Rocky. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
My long-lost sister. Yeah. Look at the mole.
Yeah.
Again. Endless joke. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin sa PTV, nakikinig sa atin sa Radyo ng Bayan at nanonood po sa atin sa Facebook Live sa pamagitan ng ating Presidential Communications page. Our resource persons for today are Mr. Joey Concepcion, Cecile Guidote Alvarez, and Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Maynard Guevara. Mr. Jose Maria A. Concepcion III, Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, is the Vice President of the EDSA People Power Commission and also a Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship. It is his second time to be in our briefing. He will talk about what the Commission has prepared for us to commemorate the EDSA People Power. He is the son of former DTI Secretary Jose Concepcion Jr., who served as the chairman of the EPPC from 1998 to 2000. He is also the founder of Go Negosyo, the current chair of ASEAN Business Advisory Council, and the president and CEO of the RFM Corporation. Cecile Guidote Alvarez is PETA founder and president of Philippine International Theater Institute, is the youngest Filipina to be honored as Ramon Magsaysay Arts Laureate for public service in 1972. As director of Earth Savers, has been distinguished the UNESCO Artist for Peace recognition, and producing director of multi-awarded DZRH Radio, Balin Tatao. She served as NCAA Executive Director during the GMA presidency and heads the Social Change Network of the International Theater Institute. She is a member of the Spirit of EDSA Foundation. Attorney Menardo I. Guevara is a Senior Deputy Executive Secretary of the Office of the President. He was also the bar top-notcher in 1986. And in 1986, when he passed the bar, that was during the People Power Revolution, right after. He was also a technical staff member of the 1986 Constitutional Commission. Prior to his appointment, he was the commissioner of the Philippine Competition Commission in 2016 and Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs at the Office of the President in 2015. Moreover, he was the commissioner of the Philippine Truth Commission in 2010, a former law partner in Medialdea, Ata Bello, Guevara, and Suarez, and law professor at the Ateneo de Manila University. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, let us give a warm welcome to our distinguished guests, Ms. Cecile Guidote Alvarez, Mr. Joey Concepcion, and Attorney Maynard Guevara. Joey? The first to speak is Joey.
Good morning. I was just appointed as vice chairman just recently. So I guess one of the tasks that I have is to try to continue what started many years back in the People Power Revolution in EDSA. It's 31 years today as we celebrate EDSA. And basically, the intention really is we would like to see it as a day of reflection. The theme basically celebrating people power for nation building. People ask me why I accepted this role as vice chairman. I guess being part of people power in that year, 1986, I was 27 years old. My father was the founder of NAMFREL. We experienced the entire change that we saw during that time, from a dictatorship to the move towards democracy. We had our own heroes at that time. We respect, until this very day, we continue to respect these heroes. Ninoy Aquino, for one, his legacy should never be forgotten. And likewise, the different people who went through what I call the transformation of our country during that period of time. As I shared with the team that was involved in the planning, and especially Chris Carrion, who has been doing this event for the past so many years, he is basically was tasked to put a simple event this coming Friday in the AFP grandstand. And former President Ramos will be with us in that event. And there will be a couple of awards to be given during that day. Of course, we start with a mass at 8 a.m. So it's going to be a very simple affair. We decided to do it on Friday because we felt that Saturday there will be a lot of people celebrating in various formats and different expressions. And moving forward, my vision is to see how we can continue to live on the spirit of EDSA, maybe in different forms. We can't keep living on the past. No? We have transformed these lessons that we have learned during this struggle, during that time, so that our own children will continue to remember it. No? I myself remember it because I was in EDSA during that period, but my children don't remember EDSA because they were never part of it. So the challenge really is, how do we make this generation continue to be inspired of what happened in 1986? No? And in the coming months, we will prepare for next year's celebration on how the youth, especially today, can live on, similar to what I have done. And my father was a former co-chair of the same commission. By coincidence or divine enlightenment or guidance, somehow I'm performing the same role that he performed many years back. No? So, in a way, I was maybe mentored during those earlier days when he was very active with NAMFREL, and somehow that spirit caught on to me. And today I find myself in a unique role, although it's a crash course in trying to put this thing together. And we hope to continue to live up and really pass on the true meaning of EDSA to our children. Thank you.
Ms. Cecil Alvarez.
I'm representing the Spirit of EDSA. It's an NGO that was founded by many people involved in the liberation of our country in 1986. My direct involvement really is because I was a kind of alalay to my husband when we were in exile, and he was a leader of the democratic opposition, exposing the hidden billions and other violations of human rights. So we are very happy to be always collaborating with the government for remembering and protecting the integrity of history. I think what's very important, and we're glad that we have this 31st anniversary, because the brilliant, gallant moment of the Filipino nation is inscribed in the UNESCO memory of the world. All over the world, major historic events like Mandela's and many of the programs that are so relevant to the growth and development of a nation is inscribed, it's selected. And the Philippines EDSA, People Power, is here. It is on page 554, the radio broadcast of the Philippine People Power Revolution. So it is recorded in world history, and it is a glorious moment that really must be carried on, the spirit. And as we feel that we were liberated from oppression and tyranny, now our concern is to seek freedom. Freedom from drugs, freedom from corruption, freedom from pollution, freedom from terrorism, freedom from disease, that more or less the Duterte government has been elucidating or focusing on. And particularly as one involved with the cultural programming, we feel that the arts is so important as a conscientizing force, and the need for education of the young to carry on memory. We don't want amnesia inflicted on our nation. It is important that we treasure what is in fact an inspiration globally for the world. We know its impact, how it broke down the walls, the Berlin Wall, and created more independent democratic governments. And we are now enjoying this democracy with free media because of the 1986 People Power Prayer Revolution. We hope that you will join us. What was said by Secretary Joey, that it will be in Camp Aguinaldo. There will be, I don't know when you want to say the awards which can be given, but this has been traditional. Every year there is a recognition of so many people, particularly the victims of the abuses of the martial law regime. Thank you.
Sir Maynard Guevara.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm representing the Executive Secretary, Salvador Mijaldea, in his capacity as chairperson of the EPCC, or the EDSA People Power Commission. Some people have been asking why the proposed program for the celebration of the 31st anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution for this year is rather sober, simple, no fanfare. All right, so that's probably in relation to what we have done or what we did last year when the EDSA People Power Revolution celebrated its 30th anniversary, and more so at during the time of the last year in office of President Pinoy Aquino. So I guess it does not indicate that the present administration or the EPPC is giving any less significance to the celebration of the 31st anniversary. Just like any young lady who is celebrating her 18th birthday, we normally celebrate it with pomp. But when she celebrates her 19th birthday, that doesn't mean that if there's no celebration similar to her debut, that her birthday is given any less significance. So we have lined up a program for the next 4 days that would be simple enough, but indicative of what we intend to do. The theme for this year's celebration is a day of reflection. And that's precisely the reason why there's no pomp in this year's anniversary celebration. It's a time to settle down, to quiet a bit, and think of what has happened over the past 30 years. Do we still have that spirit of EDSA within our hearts? Have we done things that are supposed to guide us after that momentous event in our history? So that's why we want to quiet down a bit and do some reflection on this matter. But again, just to assure you, this simplicity does not mean in any way that we are giving any less significance to the 31st anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Thank you very much.
Malacañang Press Corps, questions for Deputy Executive Secretary Maynard Guevara. Benji Liwanag. Microphone.
Good morning, sir. Sir,
Yes, Benji, thank you.
yeah, Benji Liwanag from DZBB. Sir, number one, yung mga EDSA People Power guys, kung tawagin nila, tatapatan daw kayo pero sa labas. It's in the number one, ang tanong nila, bakit hindi raw gawin dun sa EDSA People Power Monument? Which is, yun yung significantly, it's the place where it started all, yung EDSA People Power 1. Number two, may hakbang kanina si Senador Laila de Lima na parang nananawagan siya na panahon na ngayon dahil sa mga nangyayari, dahil sa mga lumalabas, lalo na yung pagpatay, panahon na ngayon para sumama kayo sa amin at tapatan natin itong EDSA. At yun din ang plano naman nung ilang mga nakikriticize sa administrasyon na tapatan kayo. So, what would you do about this? It's a simple gathering inside the camp, tapos sa labas meron naman. So, paano po ito?
Well, about your question as to why it's being done inside Campo Aguinaldo, well, the answer is really simple because that's where actually it all began, in Campo Aguinaldo, all right, with General President FBR starting the ball rolling, of course, together with other EDSA heroes like Cardinal Sin, so forth and so on. Now, as to what the government intends to do with respect to some other groups who want to, let's say, rally outside Campo Aguinaldo on the 25th, precisely before the People Power Monument, the government will simply allow these things to happen. This is exactly the freedom that the EDSA revolution wanted us to have. All right, freedom to express yourselves, freedom to rally, okay? So freedom to gather together and express your sentiments. So the government will definitely allow these activities to happen, especially on the 25th. All right, of course, subject to certain regulations like make sure that there's no traffic and so forth and so on.
Benji?
Okay, another one is, did you invite the former President Fidel Valdez Ramos in this occasion?
Definitely is in the guest list for the activity slated on Friday, the one to be held inside Campo Aguinaldo. Yes, he's invited.
Sir, may sinasabi rin siya yesterday that wag daw baliwalain ng Administrasyong Duterte yung EDSA People Power 1. So what's your take on this?
That's exactly what I said earlier, that the government, the administration is giving the same value and importance to this anniversary just like in the past. All right, it's just that we want to make this a day of reflection. So let's quiet down a bit. All right, let's remove the pomp and then think, reflect about what has happened over the past 30 years. and then let's move forward from there, from that assessment.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Benji. Dexter Ganibe, DZMM.
Kay Deputy ES,
Sir.
sir, dalawang puntos lang. Naideklara bang holiday, special holiday ang December, I mean ang February 25?
It falls on a Saturday. I think yes, it has been declared. Saturday, yes.
Yeah, the
Saturday, I'm talking about Saturday, has been included in the list of special holidays for 2017. But
How
it
about
falls
the
on a
24th?
Saturday. But of course, it has implications also for those who work on Saturdays.
How about the 24th, sir? Which is
24th, no.
Regular.
No, it's not a holiday.
Second point, sir, nakagawian na kasi ng mga nakalipas na pagdiriwang ng EDSA People Power Revolution, yung salubungan, magkakaroon din po ba doon sa simpleng celebration sa Friday?
I don't think that's part of the activities slated.
Why, sir?
Well, as I said earlier, we just want to make this as simple as possible.
But that has been the tradition yearly. Hindi ba yung mga yung mga players doon sa EDSA People Power?
There are other activities anyway that are slated. So I'm really sorry that that's not in the detailed program that has been prepared so far. But there are other activities anyway that would, express the same significance.
Last na lang. Darating ba ang Pangulong Duterte sa Friday sa Campang Aguinaldo?
No word on that yet.
Question about EDSA, Joseph Morong to be followed by Laila Salaverian.
Sir, nasa subject tayo ng iniimbitahan. Deputy ES. Sir, good morning. Sir. Call it, sorry. So sir, si Ramos pupunta po, no? Kasi he's going to be part of it. Sila former President Aquino. Were they invited first?
Yes, he was invited.
And may reply na if they're going to attend?
Is there any no, wala pang reply, sorry. No reply as yet as to whether he will attend on the 24th or not.
Pero kailan po na-imbitahan ulit?
The invitation was sent last Friday.
Okay. Sir, yung simple and walang pump na commemoration, whose idea was it?
I think it was the idea in the office of the president.
Not the president's?
Well, the president is assisted by advisors, including the executive secretary. So I guess that's the more or less the consensus of the entire executive office.
What does he think of that simple celebration, sir?
Pardon?
What does the president think of that simple celebration?
Definitely he agrees with it.
Okay. Questions to, can I go to Sir Joey and Ms. Cecile? Your family is part of EDSA. Are you comfortable with a simple celebration?
Well, let's put it this way. Let's try to define how we think it's simple. I mean, the 30th definitely is, being the 30th, it's the biggest event. I mean, it's like our ASEAN 50th. No, you celebrate it. The 31st, many things are happening this year. I mean, we have the ASEAN event, and that is keeping everybody busy, including so many other programs that this government is trying to do. Was there enough preparation time? Maybe there was not enough preparation time because we are all preoccupied. No? And I think it is also timely that we try to really think, no? How do we really take EDSA, the spirit of EDSA celebration moving forward? And to me, what's really important is we allow people to express themselves. And that's why one of the reasons why we did it on Friday is because there are reports that a lot of people want to express themselves on Saturday. So let them do it. And I think it's what democracy is all about. No? Moving forward, we will have to try to see how do we inspire the next generation. Because our generation is soon to expire. And we're not going to, many of them are in their older ages, and many of these leaders in the next 5-10 years will disappear. So how do we really bring about the youth to really embrace what we've learned in the last so many years, no? Especially in 1986? Of course, those who were in EDSA at that time, like myself, we experience it more and we live by it more, and that's why today I find myself in the same role. And the same thing with Cecil Alvarez, the same thing with, she's been there. But our generation is going to be the past. No? We have to look at the future generation. How do we really bring that real spirit down to that level? No? And you all know that even your own children really just look forward to the celebration because it's going to be a holiday. No? So how do we really leave it in our hearts? And that is something that the group is really going to work on this year, no? And really try to make next year as meaningful as we had, but more directed towards our youth, no? Not just ourselves, no? Because we have experienced it and we live by it. We believe in democracy, and you can see it from many of the citizens today. But my worry is what can we impart and share and transfer to our young kids, no?
Thank you, Ms. Cecil Alvarez.
Kami po, sa Spirit of EDSA, ay nakikiisa sa selebrasyon. Ang mahalaga po ay hindi kakalimutan ang kagitingan ng ating mga kababayan sa pagtamo sa tagumpay na nakamit para maibalik ang demokrasya. At yan po ang demokrasyang ating tinatamasa ngayon. Alam na alam po namin na wala talagang media noon. Alam po namin lahat ng mga nagaganap na, well, to use the everyday language, kabalastugan at kasakiman. Ngayon naman, nakikita po natin na ang mahalaga yung tinatawag ho ninyong unity, yung tinatawag ho nating pagkakaisa at pagmamalasakit ay hindi mawawala dito sa selebrasyon. Sapagkat yung programa po sa pagbibigay ng Spirit of EDSA kasama ng pamahalaan ng pagkilala sa armed forces, pagkilala sa simbahan, sa sektor ng simbahan, pagkilala at iba-ibang sektor ho yun, ibang religions din, Muslim to etc. are all recognized. Pagkilala sa kay Juan na representing the nation, nandun po ang pagkakaisa at parang pagsalubong dahil lahat sila ay magkakasama. Alam po ninyo, naririnig namin as years past, minumura nila pag meron traffic. Kanya mabuti naman na lang ito na not to add to the traffic crisis but not to deviate from the intention of really protecting the memory, the integrity of history na hindi binabalewala. Yung tanong po ninyo kung merong mga iba pa ring magrarally, marami pong gaganapin, pero hindi pinagbabawalan. Yun ho ang mahalaga siguro.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much po. Attorney, si
Maynard.
former President Ramos, sabi niya nung siguro last week yun, humingi siya ng EDSA Learning Center. Is that an idea that is okay with the administration?
You're
Nabanggit na
referring
ba
to a certain project?
Yeah, ang sabi po ni former President Ramos na okay yung low-key, okay lang yan, pero sana mabigay yung EDSA Learning Center which will be located at the back of the monument.
Based on what I know, it's not a learning center, but
That's
I
what they
think
call
it's a certain museum
Oo.
that will have to be constructed within the premises of Camp Aguinaldo. There was funding for that before, but quite unfortunately, hindi na-implement. No? So I guess the present EPPC, in coordination with the Spirit of EDSA Foundation, may consider that as a project for implementation.
Wala pang go signals.
Within the next few years.
Okay.
Learning center, I've not really heard about that, but the EDSA People Power Museum is something that I've heard a couple of years ago.
Thank you, Joseph. Laila Salaveria, then Marlon, and Vance Fernandez.
Good morning for Mr. Concepcion. Sir, you said earlier that you wanted to pass on the true meaning of EDSA to the children. Sir, how do you reconcile this with the recent event, the burial of Ferdinand Marcos at Libingan na Mabayani? Because he was the the reason EDSA happened was to unseat him. So how do you reconcile? How do you pass on the true meaning of EDSA with what happened?
Well, let's separate that event. No, I would rather not comment on that. Each one has their own views about that. When we talk about EDSA, basically, us who are part of this organizing group, regardless of different feelings of different sectors towards what true democracy is, no, and that is the real issue sometimes, and sometimes you tend to veer away from that and focus on the aspect of what you really want to impart to your children, no? And I think the biggest aspect to me here is really democracy, no, and democracy in various forms, no, and that is normally the challenge, no, that we see with our young kids. Of course, we can say that many of them have forgotten what EDSA was because of the past. In the recent election, you can see the reflection of how many people forgot democracy, in a sense, no. So whether we will be able to formulate the right process to really pass on this legacy that EDSA has created will really have to be well thought of. We cannot look at certain incidents that are happening in our country, whether the Marcos burial is already a true reflection that people have forgotten, no, of what has happened, or whether it's an act that, you know, people don't care. So let's not look at so many activities out there that are transpiring. Let's remain focused on what the real essence of this. And in my own way, as I shared with you, is that I was part of it, I was mentored, and now I'm part of giving back to the country. And we hope to see more Filipinos understand the real true spirit of EDSA. And today, if you look at it, our country is still impoverished. The level of poverty in this country is very high. So how do we transform this change from democracy to the next change, no, which is really creating greater prosperity for more Filipinos? No? That's my view towards it. In the end of the day, democracy would have been useless, in a sense, if we have so many people in this country at the poverty level. So in the end, this change is really creating greater prosperity for more Filipinos. So my take is, hopefully, our leaders, and before they pass on, will be really able to formulate an idea on how this next generation will really embrace the true meaning of EDSA. And that's why the idea was to make it a very simple affair. Last year, it was a very big affair. And think on how we move forward with this celebration every year. Aside from it being a holiday, we have to really bring the real meaning to our children. And to me, in my own way, as I live today, giving back to the country, is how I was changed with that, with my father's role. And I'm sure that my challenge is, how do I make my children really embrace what that true meaning was? We experienced a dictatorship. We felt it. We saw it. And our kids are insulated from all of that. So now, if you look at the people at the bottom of the pyramid, many people that are struggling, how do they move on? And how do we bring about greater confidence? And how do they feel part of that change? They've seen it progress from dictatorship to democracy to being an investment-grade country, but yet they still voted for our President Duterte because they were not part of this change. They feel it. So all of these celebrations may be useless if, you know, many of them have never benefited from these changes. That's how I see it.
Okay, thank you.
Isa lang, sorry.
Sige.
Sir, may isa pa. Sir, can we actually really reflect on EDSA without thinking about Marcos? I mean, can we actually separate him? And isa pa, sir, will any of the events address the fact of the burial and what it means, its implication? Because some are saying that it could distort or maybe whitewash history.
Look, I look at it. Every country, even America, went through a civil war. If Marcos had a role to play in the Philippines, if there was no Marcos, there will be no Fidel Ramos, there will be no Enrile, there will be no. So we have to experience sometimes in life certain struggles. No? I mean, we all have to learn. It's never a perfect world. The Philippines, we have our own struggle. What started the people power was the Filipinos realizing that it was time for them to fight for their freedom. No? And I look at it positively. Marcos, in a way, instilled that in a sense by, at that point in time, people wanted to change. So that experience, it's rather than, we didn't have to have a civil war in this country. We went through a peaceful people power revolution, which was basically followed by many other countries. And to me, that's something really proud to see, no? I mean, Filipinos coming together. So, in a way, if you look at it, without Marcos, how do we build character? I look at that. I mean, how will I build my own character? How will we see the Filipinos build their character? That was a challenge at that point in time. That's how I look at it. In adversity, how do you change? How do you progress? And it will not be only Marcos as an example. There may be other situations in the future that builds character. And that's important to keep building character. Today, our children, how do we build their character? I mean, now everything is, nice. Everything seems to be running well. We have been re-rated and things are doing much better. But the previous generations, even those who went through the Japanese War, and they built their character. And you can see many successful people who grow to these challenges, build character, and that's what makes them stronger. So I look at it in a sense, in a positive way.
Okay, thank you, sir. Marlon Ramos to be followed by Vance, Ina, and last question, Joseph Morong.
Kay Attorney, Deputy Executive Secretary. Sir, kung hindi pa po nag-confirm si Presidente, but is he actually part of the program? I mean, was he invited to deliver a message on that day?
According to the program, he's supposed to deliver the keynote speech, either he or the executive secretary.
Okay, sir, thank you. Is the decision to tone down the EDSA celebration had anything to do with the fact that the Marcoses are close allies of President Duterte?
I don't think so. It's really more of a time to reflect. That's why we're doing this as simple as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Kay Miss Cecil, tsaka kay Secretary Concepcion. Sir,
Ms. Cecil Alvarez, please. Thank you.
for both, connection lang din sa tanong kanila.
Sa totoo lang po, patotohanan, hindi matatanggal ang sakit at dalamhati ng mga biktima ng martial law sa naging desisyon ng Supreme Court. Pero yun ang naging desisyon ng Supreme Court. Pero nagbaliktad rin naman sila, biglang sinabi na nakaw na yaman talaga yung mga ginto at lahat ng alahas, pati na dapat yung mga art collection. Yun ho ang mahalaga, alaala. Ano ang katotohanan? Hindi mapagtatakpan ang katotohanan. At nagagalak tayo na kung akala ninyo dahil nandyan yung libingan ng mga bayani, kakalimutan ng EDSA, hindi Hindi naman kinakalimutan. Bagkus, nagising ang mga kabataan na sinasabi ni Joey na hindi alam ang madilim na kasaysayan ng batas militar. Pero binibigyan ito ng pagtaguyod ng Pangulo ngayon. Dahil alam naman natin mabilis siyang humarap sa dalamhati ng mga sundalo na napapatay. Pag nagising lalo kung ano ang dalamhati at pasakit na natamo ng bayan, ay aabot at abot, may gulong ang palad Magigising at magigising, merong edukasyon. Ang sinabi na ng Pangulo na sa DepEd, papasok ang kasaysayan, ang pag-aaral sa kasaysayan. Nagkamali tayo, nagkulang sa pag-aaral, sa dissemination. Ngayon, napakahalaga nga ng media na kasama sa paggising, pagbigay, paglantad ng katotohanan na, hindi ba meron silang sinasabi na baliktad na information? Eh ngayon, kung talagang lahat ng katotohanan ay lalabas, ang tama at angkop na desisyon ay mangyayari. Nakita ninyo, nagkamali tayo sa diktadorya, umamin at lahat. Ngunit nagising sa EDSA. Malay ninyo, baka sakaling ang Kongreso maglagay ng batas para palitan ang pangalan ng libingan ng mga bayani. Hindi ba? Marami pong maaring maganap dahil demokrasya tayo dahil sa EDSA.
Are you comfortable, kay Sir Joey and kay Ma'am Cecil, are you comfortable working with the President who we know is the one who allowed the burial of the tyrant Ferdinand Marcos in Libingan?
Well, the President said you had free expression. We were allowed. We did. I signed, together with my husband, the petition at the Supreme Court. Because that is how we feel and we know the truth. We were in exile and we know what happened. Pati yung ngayon kay Primitivo Mijares, alam rin namin yon. So, kahit na nandun, hindi naman sinasarahan ng Pangulo ang pintuan para bigla na lang iwaldas ang kasaysayan. So it is important that we do remember EDSA, and this government is remembering EDSA and promises when they compose the EDSA Commission to do further. There is conversations about finally executing a learning center museum, museum, that was sidetracked in a way. So, marami pong maring gampanan para patuloy ang paggunita. We cannot inflict Alzheimer's disease on our nation. And we welcome at least that President Duterte is recognizing this. We believe he is history sensitive and he's wanting to do some changes, but must be with full people participation, can be evolved and developed. Kanya kailangan ho, meron yung palaging sinasabi, pangalagaan ang pamana ng kalayaan. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. A friendly reminder, MPC, we still have Press Secretary Andanar and spokesperson Abelia Vance.
Yes. To Sir Joey Concepcion, please. Sir Joey. Yes, sir.
Our birthday girl.
Sir, good afternoon. My question is only one. How much will be the allocated budget for this small event that you are mentioning inside the camp?
Yeah, 1 million. No? Yeah, 1 million for the entire thing. About $1 million for the entire thing. No? It's a very simple event, no? So about $1 million pesos.
Okay, thank you, Vance. Ina Andolong.
Sir, Senator De Lima earlier talked in her press conference, mentioned EDSA and how people should continue to fight for what it fought for. Is there any concern on your part that the upcoming anniversary may be used by those against the administration to push for their agenda? If so, what are you doing about it?
You know, as all of them said, EDSA is about an expression of real democracy. So we have to allow people to express that feelings of theirs. No, I mean, as I say, everybody has their own right to say something, whether right or wrong. And if there are groups, and so be it. And provided, as was said, that they conform to the law, no, and they don't disturb traffic, which is one of the very reasons why we decided to put it in the AFP grandstand.
Sir, President Duterte often criticizes the church. He also criticizes the media when he doesn't like what they write or publish. He's favored the hero's burial for former President Marcos, and he's not yet even confirmed his attendance to the activity on Friday. What message is he trying to send? What example is he setting to the youth na gusto niya nga pong balikan yung EDSA at matuto doon sa mga nangyari dati?
Well, the president has his own style of management, and I respect his style of management. In the end of the day, the majority of the Filipinos voted for him, and we have to live with that decision. And I'm sure the president, in many of his moves, is well calculated. The good part with this president is you can see his simplicity in the way he lives his life. He's been very informal, and the person that you see in the podium is different when you see him together in a closed room. He's a very simple person. He's approachable, and I have a lot of respect for him. I think this is the chance that we can see that maybe we will see people who will really make a change. And I've never seen a leadership like this that has put a lot of action. One can criticize his method, but if one were never to do anything, it's just worse. No? So it's the first time that we have seen the level of drug addiction in this country, and it requires for certain styles of leadership to really bring about change. And in a way, it's a balance that we have to realize. No? In our company, in the private sector, when we run and we try to achieve a certain goal, there are types of managers who would look and consult consultants. No? And there are types of people, like entrepreneurs, who would rely on gut feel. No? I'm a person who relies more on gut feel and a bit of research, but gut feel. Many entrepreneurs out there rely on gut feel. And I think this president relies on his own gut feel, his experience as Davao mayor for many, many years that has brought Davao to where it is today. So we have to respect that. I mean, each CEO of this country will have their own style. No? You may not agree with it, and some may agree with it, but he was duly elected, and let's allow him to, exercise to the best of his own reason on how to run this country. The next leader after 6 years will have his own style. Every leader has his own style. You can see the previous leader who had their own style. Every leader, and somehow, in a way, media is never happy with each one's style. There's always a criticism. Bakit ganyan? Bakit ganito? And I look at it, that you have to sometimes look at the good side, and let's not keep looking at the bad side of every leader, because I think what's important is the real intention, the real heart of a leader, of really transforming the nation. Yes, sometimes we make mistakes, and like everybody who runs a business, the president is the CEO of the country. So you have to look at it in that manner.
Sir, going back to my question po, for example, if he doesn't attend the activity on Friday, isn't that showing the youth or the people that the activity being commemorated is not very important for the president?
I don't think so. I mean, if his schedule is busy, he has a reason that he can't attend. Many people will be attending. The executive secretary will be there. And it doesn't mean that he will never attend any event. It just happens that, as I said, there are just so many things that are happening in our country today. And as a host of the ASEAN and many other pressing concerns, this was all, I mean, I was just appointed, a couple of days ago. So we didn't have enough time to really pull our thoughts together and plan for the right celebration that would move us forward. No? So next year, I'm sure we will have the president there. No? So let's be patient. No?
Thank you, sir. Joseph, last question.
One last na lang po.
Second section.
I'm not sure if I heard you correctly, but kanina sabi niyo, Marcos, and I'm paraphrasing, was necessary in our history because of him, we realized certain things. Are we not hearing the start of historical revisionism? And it's dangerous because it's coming from a vice chair of a commission.
Well, let me explain. There are certain things in life. I would have wished that that incident never happened, that we had a dictator for, 20 years. But in life, there are always many challenges. And sometimes you may have the wrong leader. But in all of these challenges, you have to look at the good points. It has built character in a lot of Filipino people. Love for country, basically, you've seen it. A very peaceful people power revolution, hardly seen, but maybe a miracle, and was followed by other countries. So there are, and maybe more challenges down the road. But in the end, we have to move on. We can't just be haunted by the past. I mean, we can't get stuck. I mean, I said Marcos, in a way, was a situation that created a lot of learning for a lot of Filipinos. Even myself. If not for that, I would have never felt. I never felt during the war the experience of the Japanese when they occupied the Philippines. My parents felt that. My own experience during this revolution was an experience that I will never forget, and has built, in a way, my character, and it's built my character to giving back today. So that is what I'm trying to say. I mean, you've seen also a lot of people shine during these moments, and the true Filipino unity and bonding and love for each other came about, because in the end, the soldier and the civilian did not shoot each other, and that's how you build character, and that's what I'm trying to say. Life is never a straight pathway. There will always be challenges, and you have to learn from these challenges and build character. In the end of the day, maybe we were placed on earth to build character. Okay, I might get too philosophical, so I did there.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am Cecil Alvarez.
Kasi po, ako naniniwala at nakita ko ang puso nung sinabi ni President Duterte, he is for the helpless and the hopeless. Nakita ko po ang katotohanan noon dahil I work with persons with disabilities, and the first arts exhibit in the museum was by handicapable artists dito po sa Presidential Museum. Hindi ho yung big-time artist, pero mga may kapansanan na may kakayanan ang kanyang binigyan ng puwang sa Malacañang. Sabi niya, it's going to be open to the people. Ito hong February 27, alam niyo may flag ceremony palagi ang Malacañang. Ito na naman hong mga handicapable, out-of-school, indigenous youth sa Earth Savers ang magse-celebrate ng Arts Month, and in a sense, a remembrance of EDSA as what we had said, freedom from drugs, freedom from pollution, freedom from crime and corruption. So ito naman is through the Cabinet Secretary. So nakikita rin natin na nandun. O nakikita natin na si President Duterte, meron mang nakita na merong extrajudicial, may maling naganap, lalo na dun sa Korean, marunong naman siyang mag-apologize kung makikitang may error, at hindi lang po yun, pinagbawalan na ang pulis o may bagong sistemang inaayos. Ang mahalaga ay meron talaga yung dialogue na nagaganap, pakikinggan kung ano ang mga nagaganap, at dahil nasa tuktok siya, makikita niya kung ano ang mga pangangailangan. The fact that even with the Pope, na mura nga ho niya, hindi ho ba? Pero meron siyang apology at dinalaw pa ni Foreign Secretary Duresa. Meron pong ganong action kesa sa walang masasabi nating patigasan, ako tama, hindi eh. Yun ho ang magandang nakikita natin, na he can really reflect. Kanya maganda ho itong day of reflection. Paano ho ba natin talaga tunay na bubuhayin ang espiritu ng EDSA? At ang spirit of EDSA with Chris Carrion is willing to work with the government, because our responsibility as a citizen is to protect the integrity of history. Yun lang po ang aming masasabi. At sana po, manood kayo ng flag ceremony sa Lunes. Yun lang maaga, pero alam kong, well, we don't know. But there are many events. Merong flag ceremony, merong iba. He had allowed this, and you never know, he comes up with surprises when he's going to appear. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Cecil Alvarez. Thank you, Secretary Joey Concepcion and Deputy Executive Secretary Maynard Guevara. Okay. Roscos, question about... yes. Sir. Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Good morning. We'd like to highlight a few items. On the Philippines' 19th ranking in the list of most powerful economies in the world by 2050. We welcome the report by one of the world's largest professional service networks, PricewaterhouseCoopers, entitled The Long View: How Will the Global Economic Order Change by 2050? In which the Philippines is number 19 in the list of 32 most powerful economies in the world by 2050. The Duterte administration aims to give Filipinos a stable and comfortable lifestyle, consistent with Executive Order Number 5 or the Ambisyon Natin 2040, which PRRD signed last year, spelling out its long-term economic vision. Also, we'd like to take note of the windfall of PRRD's official foreign visits. We're glad to report the windfall of President Duterte's official foreign visits last year. The President made a total of 7 foreign trips, visiting a total of 12 countries since he took office. These visits incurred a total of about $277 million in expenses, which included airfare, charter lease, and others. The visit to China, however, resulted in more than 20 agreements with an estimated total value of $4 billion and will generate over 100,000 jobs. Included in the agreements were a 50 million renminbi grant for the provision of drug rehabilitation facilities and another 50 million renminbi grant for the supply of law enforcement related equipment. The visit to Japan, likewise, produced investment commitments estimated at $1.85 billion and will generate about 250,000 jobs in the next few years. There were also about 5 government-to-government agreements signed, including the exchange of noted agreements for up to $184 million. However, 15 pipeline loans were acquired by several national agencies during the visit in Japan, which includes the construction of a subway from North Avenue to Taguig and a high-speed railway from Manila to Clark. These official trips are part of the President's obligation to maintain and strengthen diplomatic ties with neighboring countries and has clinched numerous economic investments and commitments amounting to billions of pesos and generate thousands of jobs in the following years. One more. On the Philippines, seen as an upper middle income economy by 2022, we welcome the statement of Philippine Exporters Confederation, PhilExport, led by President Sergio Ortiz Luis, saying that the Philippines is seen as an upper middle income economy, in fact, by 2022. The reforms initiated by the Duterte administration, backed by its strong political will usher in the transformation of the Philippines. We're pushing for a comprehensive tax reform program, and we hope to increase foreign investments in infrastructure through charter change. We're open. All right. On the Tanay tourist bus mishap, the palace expresses its condolences to the families of the victims who died in the fatal bus mishap in Tanay, Rizal. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board has already been directed to ensure the roadworthiness of the buses and to remind public utility drivers to guarantee the safety of all their passengers. Passengers must safely arrive at their respective destinations. The Commission on Higher Education is likewise conducting the necessary investigation to determine if proper procedure were observed by school authorities. We're open to a few questions.
Okay, Roscos? Microphone, please. Thank you. Yeah. About SSS? Yes, si Deputy Executive Secretary Maynard Guevara may magpa-follow up daw po about.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po. Yesterday po kasi binanggit po na kulang na lang po ng order from the Malacañang para ma-release ng SSS yun pong ipinangakong 1K increase sa pension. Ano na po ang update nun, sir, dahil po matagal na pong hinihintay ng mga pensioners?
Yes, we have prepared the appropriate communication to be sent by the Office of the President to the SSS, and it's about to be signed by the President anytime soon.
How soon? Dahil po, nangako po ng Feb 15, pero ngayon po ay magmamarch na rin. May definite time?
I can't really say that. But in any event, my understanding is that it will retroact anyway to January.
Okay, thank you, Ross. Oh, sige, follow up. Other question. President Vance Fernandez.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Sir Maynard Guevara.
Maynard.
Question.
Sir, dahil po natatagalan ng pag-issue nitong, pag-release nitong SSS pension, totoo po bang hinaharang po ba ito ni Secretary Dominguez and DBM Diokno?
I don't think there are concerns about the viability of the fund, but those concerns are being addressed. Concerns about the shortening of the viability of the fund due to the 1,000 peso adjustment or increase in the pension of retirees, but that concern is also being addressed by our economic managers. They have proposals on how to go about dealing with the increased burden on the SSS without having to necessarily increase contributions from the employees.
Thank you, Vance. Laila Salaveria. Microphone.
Kay Mr. Spokesman. Sir, good afternoon. Sir, on the allegations of Las Canas, can we expect the President to address the issue directly since Las Canas was someone he used to work with, not just some random person?
You know, based on how he has performed as a witness, he seems rather discredited, doesn't he? In 2016, he denied certain things, and in 2017 he flip-flops. So that certainly puts everything that he says in doubtful light. So we'll leave it at that.
So he won't, kasi he responded to Senator Trillanes with a video message. So can we expect him?
Well, if he does so, he will. But as far as I know, he's not leaning towards that direction.
Sir, can I just clarify? Malacañang is just brushing aside the allegations of Las Canas, but didn't he used to be credible when he was absolving the president of...
When he was?
Absolving the president of involvement.
Let's put it this way. The situation is such that the testimony of the man is in context where there seems to be a lot of other noise. So that puts his testimony in a rather doubtful light at this stage. Thank you.
Joseph Moro.
So just going through some of these allegations ni Sir Las Canas, no?
Yes.
President Duterte allegedly ordered the killing of a family. That's one. What does the palace think or say about it?
Well, in the same way that I would say, we would not be responding to those allegations. If there really is something if these things are really truly valid, then it should be brought to the proper court, not here. Okay.
And then yung Cajun Palace, sir. I mean, it's just been
Ganun
hounding
din
the
po yan.
president.
Ganun din po yan.
Okay, Marlon Ramos.
The allegations made by the former policeman Las Canas are actually in support of the previous allegations made by Matobato. Can the palace just brush this aside as part of a plot to topple the administration?
It's not a brushing aside, but you certainly what we're saying. It seems to be that it seems to be part of a larger noise that's arising.
Because previously, ang sinabi po ng Palasyo, there's only Matobato who's making this allegation, and now there are two of them who confessed to being part of the DDS, and both of them told the Senate that they actually received directly orders from the president, then the mayor of Davao to.
So your question?
Kasi ganun lang ba kasimple na just to ignore this as noise when Las Canas is actually coming out in support of the allegations of a previous witness?
Well, let's put it this way. You know, if there's anything of true value to it, then let it be put through the proper channels and through the proper courts.
Thank you, Marlon. Joseph Morong?
Sir, just for the reaction of the palace. See, Senator De Lima called the president, and I call sociopathic, serial killer, criminal-minded. Do you care to respond to that?
Those is colorful language. Thank you. Next.
Sir, AMLAC. Was the president serious when he said to Batch 67 that he has ordered AMLAC to reveal information about his net worth, at least as far as he's concerned?
Well, if he said so, then that is a directive, then I suppose it will follow that general direction.
In terms of procedure, what is he prepared to do, sir?
I don't know. I don't know about procedure, but definitely at the right time, these things will need to be disclosed. Will be disclosed.
Will be disclosed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Marlon Ramos?
You said last Sunday that probably the president is open to accepting the challenge of Senator Trillanes to open his bank account. Is he willing to sign a waiver to release, to make public the bank transaction history?
I don't know about the process that will need to be done, but definitely he's open to those things.
Okay. Vance Fernandez?
Sir, question lang po.
Yes,
Ano
ma'am.
po ang nangyari po sa meeting ng ating Pangulo sa NEDA, and then ang meeting nila with Secretary Maza, si Paeng Mariano, and Judy Tagiwalo?
Dami naman.
Yes, sir.
But I can tell you about the NEDA thing, okay? I can tell you about the NEDA thing. All right, the draft minutes were approved. The Philippine Development Plan 2017-2022 is for adoption. It has been approved, all right? The draft executive order to implement the 2017-2020 comprehensive tariff program has been approved, and also approved for adoption is the draft executive order to implement the WTO Information Technology Agreement 2. So basically, it was a very fruitful meeting. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Presidential
I don't have word on that. Not yet. Okay.
Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andalan.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Microphone.
Sir, yung sinabi niyo, and I quote, larger noise that is arising. Is this something that you plan to act on or
No.
counter?
No, you know, like Ms. Cecil has pointed out, the president allows for all these demonstrations, expressions of opposition. So, yeah, no, he will allow for that.
Okay. Thank you, Presidential Case Sir Abella. Okay. Microphone.
Yes.
Marlon Ramos?
Sir, yung mamagit niya lang po kahapon na at least 4 or 5 compelling reasons for the government to return to the negotiating table with
Yes.
the communists. Are those make or break demands? I mean, take it or leave it demands?
No, those are not even preconditions in a way, but you know, these are some of the things that would be validly raised up as compelling reasons to return. If they would say that, they would expressly say that we're willing to do this, do this, do this, do this. I mean, and those arose from the messages of the president. I mean, he has been he has found it offensive that they ambushed, they lifted their unilateral ceasefire. So basing it on that, these would be key areas and key points key points and can be considered as compelling reason in order to return.
And if the NDFP refuses to agree to such conditions?
I don't think they're not being asked to do so. I mean, these were simply key points that were being laid open to them as options that they could do. Okay.
Thank you.
Tricia
Thank you.
Macas.
Sir, just one quick question.
Yes,
Sir, Senator De Limas urged the cabinet members to declare President Duterte unfit for the presidency. What does the palace think of this?
Seriously?
Okay, thank you,
Okay, thank you,
sir.
Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella, Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar. Henry Uri.
Secretary, do you have statement first? Do you have statement first?
Oh, no, just, I
Henry,
would like
go.
to thank CNN Philippines for the very wonderful interview yesterday morning, specifically the request of Ina to be on the phone and Pinky Webb, who did a magnificent interview.
A controversial interview. Secretary, you have mentioned na rin dun sa interview, kaliwat kanan yung batikos sa administrasyon. May kapasidad ba ang sino man, lalo ng oposisyon, na pabagsakin pa ang kasalukuyang administrasyon?
Kung ipagbabasihan po natin yung survey ng SWS, yung kanilang pagtanggap na ating mga kababayan kay Pangulo na nasa halos 80% po ang acceptance rating ng mga Pilipino kay Pangulo, mukhang wala naman pong pagkakataon na or tsansa. Pero hindi po natin may iwasan na sa social media at sa ating mga intelligence reports na nagbi-build up itong mga paninira sa ating Pangulo. And this is, as I mentioned yesterday, one of the strategies for that supposed protracted plan to have a massive protest this coming weekend against the president.
Isang tanong na lang, ano ba yung malaking pagbabago ng administrasyong ito na hindi nangyari doon sa mga previous administration para tanggapin na may nagbago at kung ano mang planong pagpapabagsak makita yung nagawa. Ano ho yung nagawa na maipagmamalaki po ng administrasyong ito?
Maraming salamat sa tanong mo, Henry, at sa DZRH. Alam niyo po, kitang-kita po naman natin sa report ng Office of the President, the Presidential Communications Operations Office noong nakarang taon, ilang milyon yung mga sumurrender at gusto nang magbagong buhay na drug dependents. Almost 80,000 na mga drug pushers po ang sumurrender din. Ang krimen against property and against person ay bumaba ng halos 35% kung ikukumpara nung Nobyembre noong 2015 at noong Nobyembre noong 2016. Ang ating ekonomiya po ay isa na sa pinakamabilis na ekonomiya sa buong Asia. Ito po ay inanunsyo nung nakaraang buwan matapos lumabas yung third quarter or yung fourth quarter GDP, 6.8. And we are the fastest growing economy in the world. At nandyan din po yung sinasabi nila na for the first time ay nakiusap, ay pumayag po ang CPP, NPA, NDF after so many years to sit down with the Republic of the Philippines, the government, para pag-usapan itong pangkapayapaan. Nandyan din po yung MILF at MNLF na gusto nang matapos itong gera between the government and our Muslim brothers and sisters back in the South, members of the MILF and MNLF, para maging makatotohanan and we realize the Bangsamoro agreement that failed the last administration. Pero ayaw po nating ikumpara ang administrasyong ito dun sa mga nakanang administrasyon because finger pointing is not the character of a true gentleman.
Pero kung meron hong pagkukulang at pagkakamali na kailangan din hong ituwid, ano po naman ito?
You know, mahirap po kasi na ako yung sasagot sa mga tanong na ganyan pagdating sa mga pagkukulang. Siguro hayaan na lang po natin na mga kritiko, marami pong mga nagsusulat sa mga pahayagan, maraming mga kolumnista. You know, this is a democracy. We respect the freedom of expression, opinion of other people. This administration takes criticisms constructively, and we do that every day.
Okay, salamat.
Thank you.
Joseph Morong.
Sir? Martin. Yung Senate press corps is asking you to apologize for your allegation yesterday.
Ako po ay naglabas na ng aking statement kahapon at kung tayo po ay tumungo doon sa official transcript ng CNN Philippines, makikita po natin at mababasa natin na wala po akong ina-allude na reporter na tumanggap na ganitong klaseng pera, ganyang pera, dolyar o piso. I was just pointing to the fact that there is this concerted effort para magkaroon ng massive action, massive protest sa EDSA ngayong February 25. It was not intended to say that the reporters at the Senate are corrupt, anything. Hindi po sila corrupt. Kilala ko yung mga reporter doon. I hold them in high esteem. And the fact that I said in the same interview with Pinky Webb that wala naman doon sa intelligence report na nagsasabi na tinanggap yung pera, that proves that the reporters at the Senate are good reporters and they stuck to their journalistic integrity.
But by floating such an idea, are you not putting them, whether they were bribes actually made or whatever, you're putting them already under a cloud of doubt?
Oh, no.
Like
I don't
White
think
House
so.
does.
I mean, there are always two sides of a coin. I mean, you can take it that way, or you can also take it the story that I was giving you. As I said, I already gave a statement yesterday, and I can read it again.
So no apologies are forthcoming from your side?
I already gave my statement yesterday, and
So no.
and that's my statement.
Inaan Dolong to be followed by Marlon Ramos.
Sir, itong sinasabi nyo na $1,000 offer, is this something, I mean, such offer, does this offer, parang kumbaga, is it just for the Senate beat? Or as you mentioned, is it something used by whoever it is you believe are behind these massive protests or actions?
Yeah.
Are they using the same strategy? For example, baka sabihin nagbibigay ba, may offer din ba sila? May bibigay ba sila baka sa magko-cover ng protest sa Saturday or mga activities on Saturday?
Yung natanggap ko na intelligence report that I mentioned to Anchor Pinky Webb, that's it. Kung ano yung nakasulat doon sa transcript, yun na yun. That's as good as you can get. And I don't want to invent things and add more or less. Yun na yun eh. But the point is, the reason why I said that was because meron ng intelligence report na may kumakalat na ganitong klaseng pera, $1,000. And this is part of that grand scheme na pagdating ng Sabado. Alam niyo po, ang katotohanan kasi, ang gobyerno, meron tayong reflection at EDSA for this 31 years of EDSA People Power. So we're celebrating it, we're reflecting on it this coming, in fact, starting on the 22nd, diba? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, meron tayong wreath laying, and then meron tour sa Malacañang, and then there's the Mass in Campo Aguinaldo, and then there's another wreath laying dun sa EDSA. And I must tell you that every step of the way, kausap po natin dito si PA Joey Concepcion, kausap po natin dito ang grupo po ni Ma'am Cecil Guedota Alvarez, kausap po din po natin si Chris Carion, and every step of the way, kausap din po natin si President Fidel V. Ramos. At pag sinabi po nating austerity measures, ganun po talaga si Presidente Digong, napakasimpleng tao, at kaya nga nang sinabi ni Joey, kanya-kanyang estilo lang naman yan. And this is the 31st, this is not the 30th. I understand yung celebration last year, umabot ng milyon-milyon. Ngayon, 1 milyon lang ang ating budget dito. So, I think we have to respect the President and also, wag nating lagyan ng kulay. The truth is, meron tayo sa gobyerno, meron tayong plano to reflect on it, at meron ding napabalitang mga mass action na mangyayari sa EDSA, at meron din tayong napabalitang mga prodigong na magrarally din dito sa Luneta. So marami. This is a democracy and everybody can join.
Sir, yung sinasabi yung mass action from the information that you're getting, is it something that is limited to Saturday, or is it maybe, are you seeing this as a start of more actions against the administration?
Ang balita ko kasi 4 days yung celebration nila, yung kanilang action. So, we'll see. It's going to be an exciting weekend for everybody.
Sir, can you tell us more about what you know of these, what appears to be an organized effort na inuulit-ulit mo?
Well, you know, Ina, I'd like to tell you more about it, but I am really limited. If you want more information, siguro tanungin natin si Secretary June Esperon.
Last,
po.
sir, sabi niyo ang dami niyo nakausap about the
Opo, sige.
People Power anniversary. Did you ever talk to the President about it, and did you try to convince him to attend the activity, and anong explanation niya why it would seem na mukhang hindi po siya pa
Thank you
confirm?
for asking that question, Ina. Ang kausap ko po dito ay diretso si Executive Secretary Bingbong Medialdea at si Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Guevara. And our task here sa PCOO was to help organize this. And it was mainly ES and the President who talked about it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Marlon Ramos and Benji, last question.
Just to quote from that official transcript sent to us yesterday, you said meron din po tayo natanggap na mga report, Pinky, na as much as $1,000 ang pinamigay dito sa Presscon. Hindi ko na lang papangalanan yung aking source, pero meron daw pinagbibigyan ng ganitong kalaking halaga. So kung may pinagbigyan, may tumanggap.
Okay, let me tell you about this, Marlon. I'm a Bisaya. I grew up in Cagayan de Oro. I also grew up in Surigao, and my Tagalog may not be as perfect as your Tagalog. So, let's put it at that.
Okay.
Pero doon sa dulo, sinabi I categorically say, di ba? I said that doon sa dulo ng tanong po ni Pinky Web, nandito. I said, I cannot categorically say na galing kay Senador Trillanes, basta ang sabi lang po ng aking source dyan sa Senado na mayroong pera na ganoon na umiikot, pero I would also like to categorically say na hindi naman sinabi kung tinanggap yung pera na yan. So, para po doon sa mga binubusisi yung aking Tagalog, pasensya na po at ako ay Bisaya, hindi po ako magaling sa mas magaling ako magbisaya kaysa magtagalog.
Okay. Sir, pero before you mentioned that during the interview, did you make any validation on the information given to you, or
I was also a
pinaniwalaan
reporter
niyo na
like you, Marlon, and the same way that you validate your stories,
validated.
I also validate mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlon.
Sir, natanong niyo po, sir, bakit?
I'm sorry? Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay yung intelligence report na natanggap ko. Yun lang po sinasabi ko. Now, of course, I have to...
Sir, during your validation, Secretary, did you ask bakit dollars pa yung denomination? But
Hindi ko po tinanong.
As a reporter, di ba, parang ikaw rin ba? Unusual for...
Hindi ko po tinanong yon. Hindi ko po tinanong. Well, siguro, I don't know kung bakit dolyar. Hindi ko alam.
And for each reporter, hindi para buo
hindi ko sinabi na each reporter. Ang sinabi po sa intelligence report sa akin ay $1,000 ang umiikot. So that's 50,000 pesos.
Yes.
Bakit naliliitan ka ba, Joseph, sa $1,000? Hindi, sabi mo kasi for everyone. Well, you know, $1,000 is $1,000 and hindi po lahat eh.
Secretary. Sir, pardon me for asking this, pero you keep on harping on na there's a plot to unseat the very popular President Duterte. When in fact Secretary June Esperon and SND Secretary Lorenzana already shut down those allegations. Ano po yung basis on when the two of the highest security officials of the government are saying na hindi totoo, walang ganyan?
Alam mo kasi, Marlon, siguro merong mga reports na hindi po nakakarating sa lahat. So, merong mga intelligence reports na well, you know, it's classified. I mean, they're classified reports, di ba? Meron din mga hindi kina-classify na report. May mga ganun eh. At hindi, wag mo kaming pagsabungin, Marlon. Wag mo sabihin, because again, you will write something and you say,
No, sir.
ito sabi ni Andanar. Walang ganon. Basta kami, meron kami sa cabinet, meron kaming information na natatanggap na sinasabi din namin because we're open, we're very transparent.
Kaya sir, hindi ko kayo pinagsasabong sir. I'm just asking for
Eh,
clarification.
Yun ang parang lumalabas, Marlon eh.
But, sa perception niyo, sir?
Walang ganyanan.
Wala, hindi naman po.
Walang
Hindi
ganyan.
ganun.
Okay, thank you,
Galing din
Mark.
kayo sa media, alam niyo rin po yun.
Alam
That's
ko
why
naman
I'm
yun.
asking for clarification.
Let me ask you, are you fair to everything that you write?
Yes.
How about your post
Yes.
on social media?
That's my personal.
Oh, exactly. But as a
kayo rin,
reporter, you are an ambassador of your newspaper.
Okay, thank you, Marlon.
Okay,
Benji
okay.
Liwanag.
Okay, on the classification of the intelligence report, can you give us the classification? Is it an A1 information? Is it a military? Kasi anong pinag-uusapan natin dito is destabilization.
Benji, I would like to I'll ask the president if I can give you the classification of it. Or there's some more information to what I know.
Kasi parang is there a need for concern na with this? Kasi sinasabi nyo na nilalat-halat.
Well, hindi naman. Kasi ang sabi nga ng ating Pangulo na, in fact, yesterday we had a long meeting with the U.S.-Philippine Society. And we also had a long meeting with the NEDA. And wala naman. At ang ating Pangulo ay tumatawa lang at sabi niya sa amin, bahala na si Secretary Salpanelo.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar. Are you still willing to answer
Thank you.
Ina's question?
Thank you.
Ina's question.
Thank you.
Sir, hindi ko kayo pinagsasabong, but I do see
Okay.
logic in Marlon's question. Did you say yung response mo sa kanya that you're getting intel reports that the two highest security officials are not getting? Is that what you're saying? That's why hindi nila alam yung sinasabi mo?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Sorry. I'm not saying that.
So, ano po yung sinabi niyo?
I would rather the intelligence report that I have. Kung gusto nyong malaman yon, I will have to ask for their permission.
Okay, thank you, Ina. Secretary, thank you, Presidential Communications.
Sabi sabihin, sir, yung information na alam mo,
Yeah.
hindi alam ni DND and SND? Ni SNNSA?
As I said, I will have to ask them if I can.
Hindi, sir.
If I can give you.
Kung alam ba rin ni NSA and SND yung information yun ng destabilization?
No, I will have to again. I will have to ask the proper members of the cabinet. Merong hawak na mga intelligence reports. If I can release such details, kasi alam naman natin na, of course, intelligence yan.
Of course.
Oh,
Sir, so ibig sabihin, yung destab information na yan, is that the reason why you're keeping it low-key, tapos pinasok nyo pa sa Aguinaldo? Does it have anything to do with it?
No, hindi naman yung traffic po. Traffic.
Okay, thank you, Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar. Okay, Henry
Henry has another question.
Henry?
Yeah. Kasi ito yung
Two question.
pangalawang
Senator De Lima, I think 2 hours ago, has a press conference, and she said to that effect, parang nananawagan siyang people power against President Duterte. Was that the plan of your yung disclosure mo ng intelligence report?
Basta yung sa akin nandito, kung sino man yung gustong manawagan, everybody has the right to express themselves in public and they can do whatever they want. At the same time, ang ating bansa ay demokrasya. Pinapayagan po ni Pangulong Digong na mag-rally ang ating mga magprotesta kahit saan kali, basta wag lang maabala ang ating mga kasamahan.
And she keeps on asking, she keeps on saying walang moral ascendancy ang Duterte administration, especially the president. Do you think she has the moral ascendancy?
I don't want to comment on that. Sorry.
Okay. Attorney Guevara, can we have your 1 minute answer, please? 1 minute lang. Yun nung sinabi ni Senator De Lima, hindi ba inciting to sedition yun?
Pardon me, but what did she actually say?
Yung sa show nananawagan for yung mga naniniwala sa kanila and galit sa administration.
No,
to go to
there's
EDSA.
nothing criminal about that. If it's inciting to rise up in arms against the government, then I guess that's the one that should be of concern. But otherwise, if it's just a call to everyone to gather together, to express their sentiment and so forth and so on, that's actually freedom of expression and assembly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Deputy Executive Secretary Maynard Guevara. Thank you, Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, Ma'am Cecil Alvarez. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio sa Radyo ng Bayan and PTB4.